Yeah, we're at St Andrews. Obviously, it was my first campaign, so it's...
Never met each other.
Yeah, never met each other. Come screaming into the room at like 11 o'clock at night. And I was,
Get out of bed! Get out of bed! What are you fucking doing? What's happened?
Yeah, literally, I have no idea what's going on.
This week's Offload episode is brought to you by Irwin Mitchell, the official legal partner of England Rugby, supporting the England team throughout the Six Nations. The Irwin Mitchell Mentoring Club is supporting grassroots rugby by developing a community of mentors to help 35,000 young players navigate life's ups and downs, giving them the opportunity to develop both on and off the field. If you could inspire the next generation, search for the Irwin Mitchell Mentoring Club on Facebook to join them, make a positive difference to local clubs and their communities. Hello and welcome to RugbyPass Offload with me, Mark Edwards, joined as always by Max and Ryan, and later on Scotland and Exeter utility forward Sam Skinner. We'll be on the show. Max, commiserations on the loss versus Worcester. Congratulations.
Is that two black eyes? Two black eyes?
On petit peu on the yeah.
Was it a bang on the nose or just straight to that eye? Because the other one's looking a bit. Was that a heavy weekend?
No, I think it was just like, I can't remember how I got them both, but yeah, it was a game of clashing and bashing.
How good is rugby? How good is rugby?
Some of the best. As our faces slowly disintegrate. Eh?
I saw you getting under the skin of old Van der Merwe, my old mate. I loved it.
Did you see?
Yes, I did. I watched a bit of the game and I saw that in it.
Yeah, he lost it.
No, because he can't take the banter. He just can't take it. Well, it wasn't really banter. What did you do? You like threw him off the ball or something, didn't you? But
no, he had the ball, but he ran. He was still carrying. I think the whistle just went, and then I tackled him, threw him a bit hard, and then he's lost it at me. And I was like, "I'm so sorry. You're so handsome. Please don't."
You know what it was? He saw you obviously got bigger arms than him, and he was raging, absolutely raging.
He is some specimen, but yeah, it was a tough game. Weird one. Just didn't protect the egg. A little bit too liberal with it, and those boys got the better of us in the end.
Oh, Worcester. Do they win much, Worcester?
No, mate. Yeah, they're nice, right?
No, but you've been going well as well. Like you've been.
I know.
Them in, and then suddenly you go to Worcester, and you're like, hold on a minute. Your old mate Steve Diamond up in there.
Steve Diamond's in there, just making everyone like question if they're getting a P45 in the mail.
Yeah, panic.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that does happen often, especially with guys like him, don't they? Can galvanise a team.
Max, talk us through your try. Congratulations. I looked it up on the one publication calling it an immense show of strength and determination. Talk us through your individual brilliance.
So I think it was a mall collapsed. We were on the 5 meter. It was the 5 meter, right? I kid you not. And saw Garves at like pillar just on the ruck guard, and I was like, I'm having this. So just up the guts, pick and go. Managed to get outside him. Ended up into Kevin Kitchener, I think, and just managed to rumble over with Big Jan on my hip, Yanni Thomas. Yeah, it was. I was very surprised when I got through. I was like, really?
I'm nearly there.
I did it.
Mate, I'll bet you. Please tell me you're getting into Garvey for it.
Oh yeah, I was giving it. At the end, he was like, "That's one each," because I got the result. You mugged me off, so I was like 1-1.
Too right.
Did you see the sheriff Ken Owens getting called out doing a Buffalo on live telly when he was watching the Scarlets from a box?
I wish I'd seen that. That's world class chat though. Great
but no, it wasn't, because he went like that and he sees himself and he panics and then tries to hide the pint down the bottom, and he's like, "Oh no, but someone's caught me. I've been drinking in the stands." And he's like shoving it down the bottom. And then someone's called him out for Buffalo.
Oh no.
Whereas he would have been, he should have just gone.
Just owned it, yeah.
That's what he should have done. Very funny. Like the look of that. A little mention as well to our old mate Zebo. 3 tries at the weekend. Did you see that? He scored 3 tries on his third one against, again, the only reason I'm watching because of Edinburgh. and he scored the third one, and he's giving it the running backwards, man. And he's like,
Oh, wow.
and any other player you watched it, you'd be like, you absolute tosser. But because
That's
it's him,
so anti-rugby that. How dare you?
yeah, but it just makes you laugh. Like, it just makes you smile, man, when he does it. But yeah, he's giving it the old running backwards like that. So nice one, Zeebs.
I was just wondering, have you guys over your careers, what was the best punishment? We're talking just with Ken Owens with the old Buffalo. And then we saw when I think Prince Harry got caught out by the South African World Cup winning team, and he told them they basically did him in for Buffalo. What's the worst punishment you've seen handed out by a coach or in court meetings?
The worst thing I've seen. There's some good ones, like, you know, when you've got like lads who stick together all the time, like at court sessions, and they like chain them up together. I always love that crack. Or the guys that hate each other and the boys know it, so they like tape them together for the whole night. Those are always good crack. And then what's another one I love? The dice roll is quite good. Like, you get different punishments on the face of the die.
Do you have a fine system at Bristol?
Yeah. So at the moment, it's the dice roll. It's headed up by Dave Atwin and all his smugness. And there's all sorts of stuff on there. Performance and monetary fine. Performances are quite good. Toby Fricker stands out. He does like really good long form jokes. So we like always want him to get the 6 so he can get up there and do something ridiculous. Although he tried to do one recently where he's trying to do like an office skit of the Bears. And it was too long and the jokes weren't landing and everyone was just like,
oh no,
this is awkward. This is so awkward. That was one of the best things.
Well, that's what makes it better when it's awkward, because it's meant to be a fine. It should be a punishment. They should be making people laugh.
Oh man,
they should be wincing up there. They should be hating it. That's what they're all about, aren't they? So you get the old wear a suit to work, which is a nightmare, isn't it? We do that one.
Who gets them? Who's just always on the receiving end of the punishment, just getting it wrong the whole time?
Oh, there's just blokes that are just terrible timekeepers.
Yeah, me. I'm a classic one.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, bro. I've funded a few team socials in my time, my boy.
Oh no, Max! I didn't take you for that. So late for meetings, late for everything, late to training.
Yeah. Oh mate, John. Yeah. Oh god, Dave and John hate it. That's just
I'll tell you a funny one. One of the ones at Glasgow we've done before is you have to phone the CEO and ask for a new contract and like an upgrade of your contract as well. And it was one of the young boys got a fine, rolled it, and it was like, make the call. And we got to choose who it was, and he had to phone the CEO of Glasgow and ask for a new contract and said that he deserves it. And anyway, so we do the fines meeting and we're like, right, at the next team meeting, you have to do it. Anyway, before the team meeting, I get a phone call from the CEO saying, hey, Ryan, it's Nathan here. I've had a call from one of the young boys saying that he's going to make a call to me. I was like, no. He's like, I completely agree, completely against the rules. So just to let you know, I want you to be aware that he's trying to like snake his way out of this. I was like, this is priceless from you, man. So he's
so good.
But we've organised for him to change his voicemail, right? So we've got the young boy up and we said, right, make the call. And he's all smug up there, like pretending. The worst thing is we knew that he'd already
still going ahead. Oh,
and he's still up there going, oh, boys, do I have to? Oh, I'm so giving it the act.
Really? Was it? Oh, that is...
Yeah. And we're like, yeah, oh, God, you'll be all right, mate. Go on, you'll be all right. You snake. Make the call. Anyway, and we're like, if it gets to voicemail, you've got to leave a voicemail. He's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I hope it's voicemail. Anyway, the voicemail comes up. And he's like, hey, this is Nathan Barnbury's Glasgow Warriors. Please leave a message after the tone. Unless you are the player, I think it's against all rules, all regulations to phone me before this thing. Like, and completely threw him under the bus and the boys
got him. Oh! Everyone's just losing it. Yeah.
Oh, mate, the room's gone mad. Like, mate, if there was rotten tomatoes and eggs, they would have just bastard. It was incredible. So well
much time for that.
He took a while to live that down, but yeah, that just showed. Even like the CEO who's bought into, no, these fines has to stick. Can't get his way out of this. That was an unbelievable one for me. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of the best I've heard, actually. That's so good from the CEO.
Well, a lot of like detail went into that, and it was just like I told a few of the boys because I wanted to get out there, but it was like the genuine reaction of the boys. They were raging, absolutely raging that it tried to phone them.
That's anti-culture, anti-rugby culture.
But
at Hawke's Bay, bro, the court session is so scary. It's like it's a rite of passage. It's like so intense. I've never had one quite as like hardcore. It was unbelievable.
Where's where you become a man?
Yeah, no, straight up. It was like when the Spartans throw their children off the cliff because they're not ready and like send them out to the wilderness. It was like that. But mate, you all get like a little backstory of missions you have to complete without anyone knowing what the mission is and stuff. So you got to have that on you. And then they're just abusing you for anything you did over the season. So they pull you up on anything. And then if you don't address them by the rules, so by their surname, no pointing, etc., you know how it is. But it's so zealous. You have to ride the monorail where you have to drop your both. So he'll pick who you have to ride the monorail on. So you have to drop your cax, and then they drop their cax, and you've got to sit on their lap. And that's called riding the monorail. Sit on the point. And you don't want to be riding the monorail on some of these boys.
Oh, it depends. It depends. you can't write that off. Some people.
But yeah, I was a young 23-year-old Max. Oh God, I hadn't seen anything like
riding the monorail.
Yeah, riding the monorail.
That's how you and Max Harvey got so close.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, moving on. Mario Toji's come out and he said it's time rugby puts on a sort of NFL-style halftime show like we saw at the Super Bowl to get more eyes on the sport. If you two were in charge, who would you book and what sort of entertainment would we be enjoying?
You could probably have you could almost have like an exhibition fight, combine the two at halftime.
A fight?
Yeah, like an exhibition bout.
Or
like
someone.
No. Get like a proper scrap.
Bieber versus Rod Stewart.
Yeah, like a celebrity death match. Yeah, that would be class, wouldn't it? 3 5-minute rounds, done. Yeah, so like a 20-minute halftime.
Was it weird when you first got your sort of 10-minute, 15-minute halftime as a pro, being used to kind of when you're growing up, just a couple of minutes and an orange?
Do you remember that? You remember getting an orange?
I actually remember getting an orange. Yeah, that was so weird.
So weird.
What was the point in that? What's the
point?
To
be fair though, at the moment at Bristol, after the sessions, we get like a frosted fruit platter, and my God, it's refreshing. Like I was like, this orange thing's legit. Like refrigerated fruit platter. I'm just going for the grapefruit though. I like the tanginess with the sweet. Really complement each other.
What are you at half time at the moment, Max? What are you banging down here at half time?
Half time, I'm a Lucozade and the rest of my coffee concoction. So I drink half before the game and half at half time.
Rest of your what concoction? Sorry,
it's basically like a coffee cocktail of madness. We've got
coffee cocktail with actual coffee in it.
Yeah. So it's like.
My guts are wrecked on game day. If I started throwing coffee in at half time, I'd be.
Yeah, but I reckon that's because we guzzle too many of those mad pre-workout drinks.
Yeah, it could be a bit of that.
Yeah, so I just try and keep it wholesome, whole food. You know, a bit of lion's mane mushroom, bit of coffee, maybe some butter.
Coffee. This is what I want to know.
Collagen protein.
Are you joking?
Like, whoa! I'm alive. I'm awake. I'm ready for.
Is that what you're putting in? Mate, I'm a bottle of water. I come in a bottle of water like that. And like an ice pack on the head.
Yeah. No, I'll have a drop of the Lucozade as well. But that's what I quite like doing, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm a carb gel. You know, the old...
Yeah. Like, it's like, yeah, those are weird though, aren't they? The texture, like, this could be like sucking off Mr. Blobby, isn't it? It's kind of a bit weird, but I do like them. Yeah, I'm a big carb gel. Yeah, I do like them. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, a little carb gel for me. Oh, just got a little bit there. And what about the hot shots? Are you into the? Do you get cramp?
Yeah, I do. I'll throw them down there because I get cramp like a bat. Like the rigor mortis is real, so I'll throw them down. But I don't know if they do much. But I quite like the intense pickliness of them.
Well, I love the hot shots, and yeah, see the pickle juice. Have you heard of this, Mark? So to try and help with cramp, when you get cramp on the field, they give you something. It's something to do with the receptors here. Am I right, Max?
Yeah, something like that. I haven't actually looked into the science properly.
It gives you I think, probably completely wrong, but it's got something to do with your brain. Makes your brain focus on what's happening here rather than the cramp because it's neurological. Something like that. Anyway, the pickle juice, absolutely delicious. It just reminds me of McDonald's. So that doesn't work. It's got to be the spicy stuff. And you swirl it around and spit it out. So when you see rugby players drinking something and spitting it out, that's us trying to stop ourselves from getting cramp.
Oh, I did not know that. You learned something new.
Yeah, there you are.
Look at that. Has anyone got like a really weird sort of halftime routine?
No, no one I know of.
Johnny Gray was always odd.
What would he do?
He would take all his strapping off and re-strap just for no reason. He'd like get
so niggly for the physios.
And like swap his boots and things like that. Just real weird things. He was really odd with it. And he had this boot tightener, right? And he'd put his boots on and then he'd get this thing that tightens the laces to the point where it probably cut the blood out of his feet. And he'd be yanking it. If we've got Sam Skinner on later, we'll ask him if he's still doing it. But he'd yank these things and tie them up so tight. But John, what are you up to? And he'd have this weird thing as well. Oh, I won't tell too much because he gets quite weird about it. Oh, you never know. You never know I've said it. He'd always, just before we're going for a huddle, he'd be like, Wills, and he'd go to the toilet, no matter what. And everyone would come into huddle and you'd have to wait for Johnny because he'd always go to the toilet just before the huddle. It's like his thing that he goes to. A lot of boys have those
superstitious. They're like sailors, aren't they, rugby players?
Let's move on though. You might have seen that the England team were about 9 of them at least, half naked on their way back from the sauna in their Chelsea hotel. They got stuck in a lift for an hour until they were rescued by the fire department. Sort of got us thinking, who'd be the worst person to be stuck in a lift with that you've come across in your career?
Oh, me.
Oh, there's too many people.
Me. I'm claustrophobic. I'd absolutely lose it.
Who I start? Oh, mate, at the moment in Bristol, just if I was in the elevator with Carl Sinclair for that long, it would get weird. Someone's getting eaten or something. It wouldn't be good. But if I wanted to get out of the elevator, I'd probably have I'd pick Tom Homer. He'd be up there like a spider monkey. He'd probably figure it out in 10 seconds. That's what I'd have. He'd be up on the cables, like crowbarring, open the doors. It'd be unbelievable scenes. Who else would be terrible? Matt Garvey. Oh, that'd be awful. You'd lose your mind. Be straight psychosis. Probably me, actually. I wouldn't be like to stuck with me for too long. Like being by yourself in an elevator for a few hours. Ooh.
Yeah, see, I don't like it. I got stuck in a lift when I was younger, like quite bad. We messing about in an apartment in the south of France, and it was a 3-man lift. It was minute, and we fit 11 children in it. Right, 11 kids. I was 13 years old, and it was a mixture of like French, Germans, Italian, and Brits, and we were stuck for an hour and a half. It was 100 degrees outside, and my 2 younger twin sisters were like, looked at me and they went, "What's going to happen?" And I deadly serious said, "We're going to die."
Everyone lost their minds.
I swear to God, since that day, they've never been in a lift again. And I've only just started to manage to get back into lifts because I was so bad for a while. I genuinely thought I was going to die. Hour and a half. When they cracked a little bit of the lift open, it was like that. It felt like ice coming through the. Oh God, yeah, it was bad. And you can imagine, like everyone's like speaking different languages in there. 11 kids were all like under 13 years old. So yeah, I would be a terrible person to get stuck in a lift with.
That sounds like a good experience to have, though. I mean, a bad experience, but yeah, like there's some callousing there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Life lessons. Don't put 11 people in a 3-man lift. Easy as that. Stuart Hogg wouldn't be getting a lift. I'd hate to be stuck in a lift with him for some reason. I don't know why. I could just imagine it being an absolute nightmare.
Nathan Hughes as well. You drown before you die. He'd just sweat and then you'd just be submerged. It'd be over for you. You'd drown on his sweat before they got to you.
Any of the front row boys I would worry about.
But you know, every time you go away, everyone's testing out the weight limit on those lifts. Like the whole team pile in, see when the siren goes off, and then you have to kick that guy out.
Yeah.
Is it still on?
You're like, no, get me out. I'm out. Get me out of this. I'm the first one. I'm like, get me out. You get to the hotel, you get your key, and everyone's like, quick to the rooms. I go straight to the buffer, have a little look around, have a little pick, take my time because I know that the lift will then be less full and I can go and make my way safely to my room.
You're a wily old campaigner, old Beam.
Yes, Jesus, some boys. You're right. Like, cramming the lift, like, and you get the idiots start jumping up and down, thinking it's funny. No, this is dangerous. Don't do this. I have children. Oh, I hate it. Oh, bloody hate lifts.
Like this week, there's been a lot of speculation about South Africa joining the Six Nations in 2025. Obviously, Italy have equal voting rights, not going to vote themselves out. So, thoughts on the Bokke joining?
I think it's madness.
Lekker hockey.
No, not lekker, man.
Why? I sort of see the argument not for it. I get that, but it would be kind of cool. No?
Yeah, it could be. I just think it's why? Sell it to me, Max. Sell it to me. It could be cool. You're right, but why? Why would they just join the Six Nations? It's got nothing to do with them down there.
Yeah, but didn't they say that about the Six Nations when they started it? Like, why these Six Nations? Because you guys play code. So we'll put these guys together. Next minute, years of tradition are like established. I understand that, but why can't you just chuck in one of the tastiest mammoth teams ever to like walk the earth?
I'm quite a traditionalist though, and I think that no, it's a European.
Yeah, I get you.
European, and listen, leave them down there with everyone down there because you've got bloody good teams down there, which you can create an awesome league, which I'm sure we'll get onto. So I'm against it. I think no, stay out of the Six Nations. I agree that something needs to be done with Italy because of how many times they've lost. So do something with one of the other nations up here, but Southern Hemisphere, stay down there.
Interesting. But don't you sort of think South Africa's is in that time zone more than the other one anyway?
Yeah,
like they're sort of. It's not as far as. I mean, it is far, but it's not quite as far as people think.
Yeah. Time zone because it's what is it like an hour behind us? I can
2.5. I think two.
The only argument. There's the other argument is like I would say it would remove the mystique, wouldn't it? It would sort of desensitize because if you're playing them every year in the Six Nations, then
the Lions
that kind of
Lions aren't going to go and tour down there now.
It's another very good point.
Exactly,
very good point. See, you're talking yourself out of it.
No, but I like to play devil's advocate, old boy. But yeah, I'm with you. But it would be kind of cool. Imagine boys go down.
Who does it benefit?
Well, only them. Only them. I like the Six Nations as it is, especially this year. It's been so exciting. I like it as it is. Leave it there. Maybe drop it.
Then someone can win the spoon who is actually, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you bring South Africa in and then, are we keeping Italy in with South Africa? Are we getting Italy?
No.
You would, sorry, go on, Max.
Oh, you're getting rid of Italy and putting South Africa in.
Isn't that what's been proposed? Isn't that what, or is it Seven Nations?
They're just going to make it the Seven Nations. Okay, that's interesting. Get Italy out and put South Africa in. That could make it more interesting.
But then what happens to Italian rugby then?
Well, exactly. Exactly. And I like going to Italy to play Treviso.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lovely. Pick up my Parma ham and go and get my lovely Parmigiano. Oh, you would love the carbonara made with my guanciale, Max. Incredible.
Guanciale. Guanciale, yeah.
So yeah, we can't get them out. Otherwise, what am I going to do with my yearly Italian shop over there? Also, we go and play them at rugby, but it's good for filling up the fridge.
Say we did the Boks were included. Would it benefit the tournament in any way? And more importantly, would it benefit the rugby in the home nations?
Listen, you get to play South Africa more, so it would be good for rugby. But like you said, it's having those one-off test matches. It's nice to see. Whereas if it becomes something that you always do, then yeah, it's not so great. Although you say that, then every time like we play France and stuff, it's amazing. I don't know. I'm going around about the houses here. I just don't think it should happen. I think it's bad for everything and everyone and our pockets if you wanted to go and watch Scotland play in South Africa.
Yeah, but then what about like when England had to wait 4 years to pay the ABs?
What a great spectacle.
I know, but shouldn't we really, if we want to make it a like a globalized professional sport, should it take that long for like?
But isn't that on the ABs? Don't they offer certain, like, they should have been like, well, we'll play you more if you want to play us. We'll play every 2 years or something. They should organise that in the summer tour. Summer tours, by the way, Max, you would absolutely love them. International summer tours, the best tours to go on with an international team. Like,
oh God, yeah, that does sound good.
I tell you, the best one I've ever been on, because it's a lot more relaxed, right? You shouldn't be, but it is.
Why is it?
Just because they're always trialing younger players is another thing. So they're putting younger blokes out there, and it's just at the end of the season, you're like, oh, it's like a holiday, isn't it? It shouldn't be, but we played Italy and Singapore, flew from Singapore straight to Australia, played Australia in Sydney, flew from Sydney to Fiji, played Fiji over there, and then came back via Sydney. What a tour. You know what I mean? Getting to travel the world like that on a summer tour playing rugby, the best things. That was probably the best thing about playing for Scotland, getting to go and do that and see the world that way.
Sounds delicious. So we're all in favour of keeping South Africa out.
So this week for our ASX section, we're asking Max and Ryan to pick 3 players from the England versus Wales match, although it should be pointed out there's 3 players who will definitely be in their side, but you can pick more than 3 yourselves. Knowing what you boys know about high scoring positions, etc. Now, who are you both going with this weekend? Max, hit us up.
Right. I'm going to start off with the King Midas of English rugby right now, Marcus Smith, like joint top scorer. He's doing bits. He'll probably be quite expensive, but I'm taking him anyway. And then I'm going to go with Tin Basham because I believe Wales will be defending for a lot of this contest, and he's an absolute metronome in the collision area. And then Max Maylands, my chum from last season, hell of a bloke, playing very well. Lots of meters made for the Rose. That's my 3. On to you, Ryan.
I'm going to go with, if they're playing, Manu Tuolangi.
Yeah, you see, I wanted to, but I don't know if he's going to start. But that's a great shout. He'd be cheap as well, wouldn't he? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he'll be cheap. So I'm going to go Manu Tuolangi. I'm going to go Courtney Laws because I'm hoping he'll be cheap again. And he's just going to get through some graft. I wanted to pick Basham as well. Who else is going to make loads of tackles? Who's going to make loads of tackles?
I guess they might start. They probably will start Morgan again, won't they? And he was good, but they might go to Ellis Jenkins. Or we could go 3 English players.
No, I need, like you said, that's a good tactic, having a Welsh back row in there because they're going to do a lot of defending. Okay, I'll go Morgan. I
like those 2. Yeah, those are good 3, actually. It's a good 3.
But obviously, we're able to change those if they don't start.
Yeah, absolutely. This is true.
Good. Very, very good. Thank you very much.
Well, guys, don't forget...
Put more than $1 on each player.
Saving up for the end of the season.
No, I'm just not spending any of my money trying to keep it. Stocks and shares, just like buy $1 of each one, but keep your... Look, I haven't lost much money, honey. Look at my stocks and shares. It's just stayed the same.
Guys, don't forget to get involved. All you've got to do is download the ASX Sports app now. Completely free to download and play. And you can go up against Ryan and Max as well. So good luck to all of you playing this weekend. Right, and I'm delighted, I think, and the boys are as well, to be joined on the show by Exeter and Scotland's utility forward, Sam Skinner. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on, lads.
Skizzo.
Honoured, sir.
Good to see you, brother.
Sam, we're going to kick off with one of our regular features. Max is going to read a passage from a player's autobiography, and yourself and Ryan have got to guess who wrote the book. Max, take it away.
Righto, gentlemen. Right.
I want accents.
No, no, we can't. Well, I'll do a bit of accent at the end, but I can't do the whole thing in an accent, bro.
Okay. Just give me a bit at the end.
I'll give it a bit at the end, yeah. Or go back for it for you, yeah.
Okay, I'll take notes, Sam. Don't worry.
You do the notes.
All right, yeah. Okay. There have to be better ways to remember your first selection for the All Blacks than I managed in 2003. After the Blues won the 2003 Super 12 final, we had a party in Auckland and ended up at Spy Bar. We got kicked out, not for anything I had done, it has to be said. Doug Howlett had thrown a glass at a person serving at the bar. Doug walked upstairs at where I was and told me to hurry up and come with him. I'd just come back from the bathroom, so obviously I'd learned from my earlier experience when the previous year I had urinated in front of a crowd at a public bar. When we were leaving, we did everything we were told to do, but the bouncers started giving us the verbals, so we abused them back as we kept walking. The bouncers kept following us. We jumped into a cab. I jumped in first via the back door, and the bouncers were still going at it. All of a sudden, the roadside door was opened. I turned towards it. Then I got a massive bollocking. They dragged me out of the taxi, and 3 bouncers started laying into me. We eventually managed to get away, and I went home that night with a massive black eye, which I found out later was due to a broken eye socket. The next day was Sunday, and the news was already out. The All Blacks team for the first test of 2003 against England was to be named on Monday. And here I was being portrayed as a real bad guy who always goes out on the terps, urinates in bars, and then gets into fights. We eventually managed to get away, and I went home that night with a massive black eye, which I found out later was due to a broken eye socket. Gee.
Holy hiccup.
Holy heaps, bro. Sam, giving us
Sam, I know you read loads of autobiographies. I know you're obsessed with them.
This is right in my street. I don't know, man. It's Carlos Spencer, wasn't he around then? He was pretty loose, wasn't he? Is that what you're thinking?
But same team, but same. Yeah, he's in that team, but not King Carlos.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay. So his first All Black selection was 2003. Played for the Blues. Urinated in a bar. I'm trying to think who got caught pissing in a bar. And he's got a book out, and it's a famous book. Is quite well known then.
Oh, he did a bit. He was pretty good. Yeah, this guy was class. He's a pundit, and he's now got 33 tries for New Zealand.
God, I was crap at this last week with Lewis Mooney.
Or someone?
Who's that?
Millie?
Yes, there it is, big fire.
Oh, nice. He was meant to be very, very loose on the piss.
Was he?
Yeah.
He does sound it. You know, you always undersell what you do in a book, and he was pretty candid there.
He was. God, I heard a few stories about him. Jesus. Oh, nice. Imagine going on the piss with him and Doug Howlett. They were apparently absolute lunatics on the beers.
Yeah, I heard Dougie Howlett was as well.
Wait, quickly, Sam, what was Ryan like in camp?
He was a class clown, wasn't you, Wills?
I don't know about the class clown.
He was always in the team room. To be fair, you were always in the team room, always trying to play some sort of games, maybe trying to prank the lads. You and Barks hung around a lot with each other, didn't you?
We did, yeah. We were
boys would want to swap in for training, and Wilson and Barks would just keep their head down and then just keep jogging on. So they were just picking up minutes and training. It was smart from them, to be fair. Clever play.
That's what got me there, mate. Skins used to get very stressed when he first came in.
Oh, there we go.
When he first came in, we introduced him to gin rummy. Do you remember that?
Oh God, yeah. But it's a stressful game. There's rules left, right, and centre, aren't there? And Wilson's obviously very good and very clever at trying to set boys up for failure. So gin rummy is stressful when you're playing it anyway.
Oh, mate, I remember. And then it was like you played maybe once and you're like, I'm not playing anymore. That's it. And he just lost his head. Would never play gin rummy ever again after one round of it. It was like there was physical abuse in it as well, though. You could smack each other's hands, and that is a class game. Do you play much of that, Max? Gin rummy?
No, I'm like Skins. I the minute I saw it at Bath, I was like, that's too much for me. I'm out. So that's a lot of stress. People coming out of there very vexed.
Very sweaty after a game.
Yeah. JJ's an absolute pirate on it. He loves it. But he loves stressing people out. That's why he's just the master manipulator, Chippetto. So he just wants to be pulling strings on people.
Sam, was Ryan a bit of a... I don't like the term. It was okay. Sam, was Ryan a bit of a bully when the young lads came in?
Bit of a bully? Hold on a minute.
Wait, I'll find a better word. Wait. Was he a bit of a tormentor, oppressor?
To be fair, I think I genuinely. Well, you were my first roomie at St Andrews because I think Barks was injured, so you came sprinting into the room at 11 at night. I think you just played Cardiff or someone like that, didn't you? Something like that. And I'm like tucked away in bed, sort of asleep at 10 o'clock. St Andrews, pretty daunting first experience. Obviously, I've got my thick English accent, and I'm trying to sort of keep my head down first couple of nights. And Wills comes screaming into the room at like 11:30. I shit myself. I just jump out of bed, straight onto my feet. Like I thought it was in the morning. I thought we were ready for training or something, and I've only had an hour's sleep. But you were actually a great roommate to have because you sort of taught me, you gave me the ins and outs. So you sort of stuck by me a little bit for that campaign, which was helpful. That being said, you give it a little. You give some boys stick, don't you? Which is fair. You give boys a bit of a hazing. But yeah,
I completely forgot about that. I do remember that. Where were we? The old course, yeah.
Yeah, we're at St Andrews. Obviously, it was my first campaign, so it's
never met each other.
Yeah, never met each other. Come screaming into the room at like 11 o'clock at night, and I was
get out of bed! What are you fucking doing? What's happened?
Yeah, literally, I have no idea what's going on. You were sweet though. I got lucky because we were in the Tiger Wood suite, so you were treated like royalty up there back then, weren't you?
Yeah, too right. That was when we were climbing out the balcony and collecting golf balls, I think.
Let's just quickly review the last Scotland match against Wales. Everything going so well after the victory against England. It looked like the Cardiff hoodoo was going to be broken, only of course to lose at 2017. What was said in the changing room after that defeat?
I mean, the England game result was fantastic, obviously, but we didn't perform all that well. I think we rode our luck a little bit at times, and obviously playing at Murrayfield just gives you that edge for us to get over the line there. And we probably put in a similar performance against Wales, but playing away at the Principality, it went the other way, and that's sort of what home advantage can kind of give you. We let ourselves down, really. We had an opportunity, and we didn't take it. Wales fought harder for the win than we did. I think that's what it came down to in the end, which is really disappointing because there was an opportunity there for us to back up what would have been a tough away win, but a win nonetheless, and we let it slip.
You were hit with the shoulder late on by Tame Basham. Were you expecting a sort of red or at least a yellow at the time?
I hate all this head contact. These rules. I've been done with a red card and got a 4-week ban, and it is hard as a player to adjust at those times. It's really tricky, but I mean, it's probably. I was surprised it wasn't a yellow, just because my height definitely dropped, and I guess he did hit me in the head. I didn't realise with the contact at the time that they were looking at it. I just saw on the big screen after that they were going up for it, but I don't blame the ref for not giving the yellow. It's sort of crack on. It's just a rugby incident. But the letter of the law and the way they rule it these days, I've seen them given a yellow. Yeah.
You were just saying that you felt that maybe Wales wanted it, fought for it more. Were there some angry kind of open discussions afterwards between everyone?
I don't think we were angry. There's no point in getting angry and irate about it because it's done. You can't change the result. But we were pretty honest with each other about areas we slipped up, and we conceded a lot of penalties in the middle third of the pitch, which put us under pressure. And obviously the atmosphere was electric, and it kind of gives you that oppressive feeling that you're up against it. And I think they hit the post off a penalty, and then they reacted to it quicker and got the rebound. And it was just sort of, when you don't guarantee a result your way by making it happen, the 50-50s can go against you when you're away from home, and that's pretty much what happened. We didn't really make sure it was in our hands, and we've got to learn from that.
Skinzer, you've played down there before, haven't you, with a sold-out stadium?
I haven't. Was
that your first time?
Yeah, I was due to, but it was sort of when COVID first hit. We were on the team run on the way on the bus on the way to team run a couple of years ago, and it got called off there and then. So it was my first time, and it was actually incredible.
Mate, that's what I suppose everyone forgets is going down there. Like they talked the Welsh team out of it and said there's no way they can win, and like how we obviously performed against England. But it's just they get another level, don't they, when they get down there? It's like us at home at Murrayfield. The Welsh in front of that stadium. How cool, eh?
Yeah, it's really cool. Great experience to play in. It's just bittersweet when you don't sort of earn a result that was, we feel we had the ability to go and get. But mate, the noise when they got that penalty at the end, the noise, it was incredible. Honestly, you know, when you kind of get that, like, you can feel it in your ears. I was like, that's the loudest I've ever heard a stadium before. And the whole of Cardiff came out. You know, you get the bus on the way in, and the streets are just packed, and it's you know, it's class to see that sort of atmosphere again, especially now COVID sort of, touch wood, fading off into the distance. Like, the whole of the city just comes out and turns out for it, and it's what it's about, isn't it? It was awesome to be part of.
We've because we've done it before. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if it was with Vern or Tooney, where we've walked from the Hilton. Did you stay at the Hilton?
No, where do we stay? I can't even remember now. We stayed at St David's, which is down by the quay or the harbour or something. But the Hilton's fine.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're on about. Yeah, that's a posh one down there. But we stayed at the Hilton and we walked on game day to the stadium. Can you imagine the beauty?
We actually got clapped in. I think they were just buzzing that we beat England. So we genuinely.
Well done, boys. That's a lot.
We got cheered and clapped in, and I was a bit like, fair enough.
So
Yeah.
The only other time I've walked to a ground as well is with Glasgow playing Bath in the European Cup, and
some sides do that, don't they?
And I'm pretty sure we had they piped us down there as well, and then we got absolutely hosed.
Oh God!
Yeah. Shit, don't want to do that anymore.
Sam, you guys come up against arguably the best team in the world this weekend, but one that you have beaten 3 times out of the last 4. Having seen the Irish team having some periods of dominance in their match in round 2, how are you guys planning on slowing down and kind of disabling the French threat?
Yeah, good question. They've got lots of threats all over the pitch. I think the main thing is we've got to put our game on them. We can't get too focused. Look, we've done a lot of analysis on them and seen their strengths, of which there are quite a few. But we've got to make sure we put in a sort of classic Scottish performance at Murrayfield with a load of heart, and make sure we put our game on them, because they've got threats in their attack and in their defence. But every system any team use has chinks and has weaknesses, and we've got to make sure we exploit them. Obviously, that's easier said than done. But we've got a plan, and we've got belief that we can beat them. I mean, people have been saying you've beaten them the last 2 times, which is great, or you know, the last 3 out of 4, which is brilliant, and it gives us belief for sure. But I'm sure it fuels the fire for them even more. The fact that I think they came down to us in the Six Nations a couple of years ago, and their tight head punched Jamie Ritchie in the face, got a red card, and we won, and that stopped them from any Grand Slam hopes. And then
great picture that. It looks like it's made of plasticine, doesn't it?
You just don't see much of that these days, do you? I was doing my leg swings in the dead ball area warming up, and I just saw it and was like, has that actually just happened?
How rogue is that?
Yeah. So things like that, I just can't see them do it. I can see them being real focused, because they just seem more consistent, rather than the French sides in the past. You don't know which one's going to turn up, but I'm pretty sure we know exactly what's going to turn up, and we're going to have to be right at the top of our game to get a result.
Oh, strap the shoulders up, mate, and dive at the ankles. Jesus,
it's round the corner. Round the corner.
I know, there's no surprise.
Tin hats on, boys.
Just sliding Klinsmann into his feet.
Yeah.
Oh.
They got some big boys, and they do a 6-2 bench as well. So once the big boys go off, another set of big lads come on fresh and ready to go. So it'll be good. We can't wait for it.
Last year, you were part of the side that obviously shocked the world by beating France in Paris. How incredible was that match for you personally? And also a little bit about maybe the COVID bubble partying afterwards.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. That was your 50th, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's why. Sorry. That's why we've been. Okay, let's talk about it then. Yeah.
No, listen. I don't write the script here, mate. You might think I'm producer of this show because I'm heavily involved, but I have no bearing on this script.
No creative input.
I don't know, you may have spoken about this story already, but Wills was training for Glasgow that week against us, and he takes out Matt. Was it Matt Fagg? You took him out in training, and then suddenly
it wasn't me.
Oh, that's world class. Good from you. Very good from you.
And then an hour later, the WhatsApp group's going off. Like, apparently Wills is coming in, and everyone's like, no, not Wills.
In Magnus Bradbury's kit.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, French game. We got there so early, didn't we? It was the 9 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday, and we got there Thursday sometime. So we spent about 2.5 days there. Went down to the Golf and Country Club in Paris. Was a real nice trip, to be honest. And then you sort of, when you go down to the Stade de France, you kind of go under the stadium. It was real cool atmosphere, kind of within ourselves, because obviously there's no crowds there. And we were up for it, and it was a good tight game. They could have kicked it out and finished the game off at the end, but they obviously needed to keep it going and play on in order to try and win the Six Nations, I think, or something like that. So we stuck in there and got the win, and it was actually an awesome night after, because we went back to it was a late game, so we could sort of get back to the hotel around midnight or something like that, wasn't it? And to be fair to the hotel staff, they've been on heavy COVID restrictions, so half of them came down in sort of casuals, didn't they? And
They were loving it.
Joined in, mate. They were pouring us such heavy drinks as well, and we just had a sort of a big circle time, which is where we sort of just get in a circle and just have a few drinks and get some boys' fines and things like that. And it was really good. We actually we didn't get any sleep that night, and then we got on the flight back to Exeter the next day. It was good fun.
Oh, did you fly straight to Exeter?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't on my party flight back.
No, were you on a party flight?
Oh yeah, I was like, listen, this could be the last time. Probably will be. I'm enjoying this one, baby.
It was actually a hell of a weekend. It was awesome. It was a good way to finish Six Nations.
It was weird for me because obviously I'd been out the setup for so long.
Yeah.
To then come back in, and it was a very, very different. Well, I was the oldest bloke in there. That's what I couldn't believe. And I suddenly come in, the oldest man in the squad. VP wasn't there at the time, I don't think. So I was up there with the old codgers, but it's just, I think it's the way that Tooney was as well. He changed a lot since the World Cup. Was the big thing I noticed, and how relaxed it was. And
what do you think he changed?
What do I think he changed?
Yeah, since the World Cup. I'm not that I should be asking any of the questions, but I'm just
You could get yourself in a lot of trouble here. He was just a hell of a lot more relaxed. Like, I reckon the big thing he's done is he put a lot more responsibility on the players.
Yeah. Fair.
Whereas he used to take it a lot on himself. And now with the likes of Finn and Hoggy, he lends so much of that to those boys. And you might know differently, because I've not been in there over the last year or so, but it just seemed like a hell of a lot more relaxed. And it was easy to be relaxed because it was the last game of the Six Nations and we won. So it seemed a lot more relaxed, and everyone got absolutely steaming afterwards. But yeah, it was a good one to get my 50th, because if it had been midway through, we probably wouldn't even have had as a good a piss up as we did. So it was a nice one to get it on. So I agree with everything he said. It was a very good night.
Sam, who's the best value in camp now?
You got Blair King on, who's always in the team room. I get on with Blair a lot. He's a funny dude.
Oh, I've heard this twice. Yeah, I've heard this a few times now.
Have you actually?
Yeah, well, we've had Haster on here, haven't we? So.
Oh right, yeah. Those two are
weird
when they're in camp. Yeah, weird blokes, but good fun. And I room with Chris Harris, so I get along very well with him, and I'd say those two are up there for me in terms of crack. For want of a better word.
Who's the weirdest individual then?
Well, Blair is weird.
Yeah.
Who else is weird?
How so? Is he like eccentric or something?
Yeah, he's just eccentric and like.
Nice.
He's just unrelentingly himself, which you got to respect ultimately.
He just reminds me of McLovin, like all day long. McLovin. I'm just like, even like, or role models. The guy from Role Models that goes to those like fake battles.
Yeah, the lair
that McLovin is in as well.
Yeah, that's what he reminds me of. Him, like, I could imagine him going to like a fake quest and like pretending he's in a battle, that sort of stuff. Some of the things they got up to in Japan, very questionable.
Yeah, he's up there being one of the weirdest, actually.
Sam, as an England. Sorry, not as an England, as an exile rather, playing in England. How did you fare in your initiation for the Scotland team?
Mate, I was actually looked after a bit because Hoggy had signed for Exeter, And I think he'd heard about the extra initiations, and he was shitting himself a little bit. So any crack I got, he sort of said, like, I didn't have to sing the anthem or anything like that. I had to sing a fair few songs, to be fair. But when it came to anthem check and things like that, Hobby was like, "Nah, he's all right, he's all good." So I got a bit of an easier ride, but I know he was just trying to ride my coattails until he got to Exeter, and then he could sort of chill with Slady and Knowlesy for the rest of his time there.
There he is. His new besties.
Yeah.
Did you reciprocate that when he came down to Exeter?
Mate, he still hasn't been initiated, which is so frustrating, because I don't think I'm going to get to be part of that, because I think it'll be next pre-season, because he's been too busy doing World Cups and Lions, and yeah, I think that's the two reasons why he's missed the last two of them. But I would absolutely love to. So Johnny Gray still needs to be initiated as well. I'd absolutely love to be involved in.
I've heard he's sketching hard.
Yeah.
Woody was telling me Johnny Gray is sketching it out about the initiation.
Sketches at everything, Big John, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We were talking about Big John earlier, and we were talking about like his superstitions and stuff. Does he still have those things that tightens his laces up, like to the point where his feet go blue and they fall off?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'll be careful what I say. He's not actually on social media, so I could probably.
That's exactly what I say, because he gets upset, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm close with him, but I love taking the piss out of him. I'll do it to his face, to be fair. He's the sort of guy that gets a lot of straps before games, like as in he'll get it restrapped and then restrapped again. Things have got to be sort of a certain way. And yeah, he has all sorts of different bags and things tied to his bag and things like that. He's pretty on it with yeah, and he's got another one where you're in the team huddle before you like they're like 1 minute to go out, and then like he kind of goes, and then he's always like late to the team huddle doing something.
Oh my god, that's spot on.
Right,
That's unreal.
so good. Ryan has given that
Exactly what I said earlier.
So
We didn't even plan that.
Me and Chris Harris sort of run. Well, I say Chris Harris runs the fine system here, and before the Wales game, Johnny came into the huddle like late, and he just looked at me and was like, "That's a fine." I don't think you can fine him for something like that, because you can't match day. I think anything goes match day. Boys are there.
He goes in and tries to squeeze a piss out, and it like it's just like it's a habit. He does. It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but there we go.
You're right. He won't ever hear this.
It works for him, so no complaints here.
Sam, you've had incredible success at Exeter. You've won European and domestic championships. Why have you decided to up sticks after 27 years and move to Edinburgh?
Man, I'm just turned 27, and I can't keep going out in Exeter anymore. I'm still a single guy, and I'm walking around the nightclubs in Exeter. I'm like, I'm just too old for this.
No.
But that's kind of, without taking the piss, that's sort of one of the main reasons. Is I went to uni in Exeter, brought up there, lived there, and I just want to try something new, really. I've absolutely loved my time at Exeter. Made lots of memories, played with some great guys. I've had some great coaching, but I'm just ready for a new challenge. I want to also fully commit to Scotland and give everything I can up here, really, and give it a crack and see what happens. I think it just feels sort of the right time to do it.
The cockerels left that you couldn't link up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be signing for Edinburgh after hearing the stories from the lads, but if I'm honest, but Mike gave me a call earlier in the season, and it completely caught me off guard. And then I sort of reflected on it in the evening, and it just, when it just felt right. I just, you get opportunities to go to other clubs, and you sort of weigh up the pros and cons, and you sort of know in your heart and hearts if you want to do it or not. And I just liked everything that came with this move to Edinburgh. Obviously, I train with a lot of the guys here at Scotland, and the environment, everything about what I've heard so far just seems really exciting, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck in, to be honest.
Well, speaking of the sort of territory, you played for England under 20s, 9 times before switching to allegiance to Scotland. You played in the under 20 World Cup final. Can you recall your memories from that tournament and who else you were playing with alongside at the time?
I got a sympathy 5 minutes off the bench in the final, which I'll take, obviously, but it was who do I play with? Played with James Chisholm. He was the number 8 for us. He was a phenomenal player, still is. Actually, I can't believe he's not been involved in the England setup more, to be fair. He's a fantastic player. Genge was at loose head. Paul Hill was at tight head. Jack Walker was at hooker, so front row was pretty stacked. Charlie Alls in the second row, and obviously he's gone on and been smashing it for England of late. Kieran Treadwell, who's played for Ireland, he was in the second row. Had Lewis Ludlam at 7. We actually had half decent team, to be fair. Lewis Ludlam was at 7. Who else do we have? I'm trying to think. I'm going to miss out some big names here. Had Aaron Morris at fullback, Max Clark at centre, Stu Townsend at 9. Yeah, we had a pretty good team.
Did you ever have any conversations with Eddie Jones about playing for England?
Yeah, in truth, I did. I've never really spoken about this, to be fair. But in the autumn that I got selected for Scotland, I'd had conversations with Eddie prior to that series. But my heart was, I mean, it's funny, people have their own opinion, but my heart was always, and goal was always to push and play for the Scotland national team. I've made it known. I've told the public, I've grown up supporting England and Scotland. That's been the truth of it. And my goal was always to keep progressing and try and push for an opportunity to play for the Scotland national team. So,
why Scotland?
It's just sort of where my dad's very passionate Scottish man.
Yeah.
Born and bred, and
I can back that up. I've met him.
Yeah, and
absolutely loves it.
I've watched him threaten over Six Nations match after Six Nations match on a Sunday afternoon, and roast dinner being absolutely ruined if Scotland sort of bravely falls short. And it's just always been where my heart is and where I've always wanted to play. And I've always liked the way Scotland play rugby, and it just I don't know. It's just I can't explain it really. I'm not afraid to say my dad's been a huge influence in my career. He's always stood back and let me make my decisions, but I've always wanted to. It was a pretty special moment when I got to sort of achieve that first cap, and sort of see the look on his face. It's sort of, I'm not afraid to say that he's been a huge factor in why I've wanted to do it, because for me it's what life's about, and it's about trying to create these memories. And it was a pretty special one for me, and I haven't really looked back since. I've absolutely loved being in camp and meeting incredible people like Ryan Wilson.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful explanation. That was touching.
My brain's been jogged a little bit there. I do actually remember the conversation we had, a little bit of it, when you came in for the first time, because I remember you had been speaking to Eddie Jones, and didn't he give you a call or something when you had come up here? He was a bit snide about it, wasn't he?
No, he was.
You never know with that bloke, I reckon.
I shouldn't. I'll just come out. I'll come out and say what happened, because it's fairly. Basically, I'd just been announced in the Scotland squad, and Eddie had spoke to me a couple of weeks prior, and he'd said, "Look, mate, you're on our radar. We're not necessarily thinking about you for this autumn. Keep sort of progressing, keep doing this and that and the other." And I thought, fair enough. I had a really genuine conversation with him, and thought, no problem, cheers. And I accepted the call, but I knew I'd already spoken to Gregor in the summer, and Scotland was always my goal. When I spoke to Gregor in the summer, and I said I could have gone on the summer tour with Scotland, I actually turned it down because I hadn't earned my spot with Exeter Chiefs as of yet, and I wanted to do a full pre-season with Chiefs that summer. Because if I'd done the summer trip, I wouldn't have been able to do that and earn my spot and play the Premiership games leading up to the autumn. And said, if I get the opportunity there, and I feel like I've earned my spot properly, then I'll definitely accept it. And Gregor called me again during the autumn, and offered me a spot in that autumn period, and I took it, 100% took it. And then once the Scotland squad was announced, Eddie spoke to me again, but
that was it.
It was, I was like, yeah, look, I want to play for Scotland.
Too late, motherfucker.
This is my this is what I want to do, and I think, yeah, that's how it unfolded, really. But to be honest, the conversations I had with Eddie were fantastic. He was pretty open-minded, spoke to me about uni and everything else outside of rugby, and thought fair play. Sort of, there you go.
Let's start with Ryan. Your thoughts on the first game involving your pal Sam. Scotland, France. Come on.
I hate jinxing it. That's what I feel like. I feel like that loss down at Wales was my fault, Sam, because I absolutely...
Mate, you are the albatross.
Completely. Speak from the heart, mate. Speak from the heart.
I think people are gonna laugh, and they do when I say this. But I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it.
Hey, you're a patriot. You're a patriot through and through.
And I believe in the boys, and I reckon that there's going to be a comeback from that game, which we should have won down in Wales, Sam. And I think we're gonna be freaking tight. And I think Scotland are going to win 15-13.
15-13. I think it's going to be. I reckon it'll be a higher score than that. I'm going to go 32-27 to France. I think it's going to be tight, but I'm going to draw back on those past games. I think that you're going to deal with a very emotionally charged and focused French side here.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of firepower at the moment.
I'm backing my boys to get on.
And the je ne sais quoi de va-va-voom is real right now, so I'm with the Frenchies on this one.
Way. Pass good.
Sam, you probably not
agreeing with Ryan or Max?
Who do you reckon is going to win, Sam?
Yeah, I think naturally, I think Ryan's got it right here. In terms of the result, I think France score tries. They score tries. So we've got to score more than them, and then we should win.
Tandy be raging if he finds out you said that.
He would.
Tandy.
Yeah, well, mate, he's a hell of a defence coach. He is a hell of a defence coach, but we've got to make sure we're clinical when we get the chances because, yeah, they've got some fantastic players and we back ourselves defensively, definitely, but we've just got to go off the stats that France typically score tries, so we've got to make sure we score, you know.
Perfect. England, Wales, Ryan?
Oh. Bloody hell. After last week, this now becomes, I would have said England all day, right? This suddenly becomes...
Why has it changed?
Just because they've got a little bit of puggy behind them now, the Welsh, and they're suddenly like, here we go. And I just don't think England have played that. I just like they had Italy. I just don't think they've got a huge amount behind them. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to let Max go first. I'm going to make my mind up.
So you can go the opposite.
No, not the opposite, because I know what he's going to say. He's going to say England.
It is at Twickenham, and there are some big names on the way back into the side.
Yeah.
I think they're difference makers.
Yeah,
legitimate difference makers. So I think it'll be, I don't know, I think it could be, I'm going to go 25-15 to England.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm going to go 23 12 to England. I think they're going to do it. Actually, yeah, you're right. It's at Twickenham. I would obviously want Wales to go and do it and beat them, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm fed up giving these score predictions because I always get them wrong. Skinzo, what do you reckon, mate?
I think England will have the edge. Wales have got a good scrum and they've got a good maul. If they can get that going, I think they'll give England a tough day at the office. But I think England. I think like you say, Max, they've got firepower coming back in. I think they'll have the edge. Especially, I think home advantage. The sides are so competitive this year in the Six Nations. I think home advantage. Now the fans can turn up. I think it's big, and I think they'll win by 7 or 10 points, something like that.
Yeah, Tommy Francis v. Ellis. Ooh,
yeah. This new law sort of has helped Franny out a little bit. I think he's enjoying the break foot and all that rubbish.
Is there even any point in asking a question about the last one? Just how much by?
Assume, but I still have to do it. Ireland, Italy, thoughts?
Oh, this could be very big.
Where is it? Sorry, is it in Ireland?
In Ireland, yeah.
This is galvanizing South Africa being brought in for it. this fixture alone. No, I'm joking, but I'll go.
Ireland are putting 50 on them.
That's
big. Yep, it's big. Okay. But I think they put 50 on them. I'm telling you.
40 in the high 40s to 50. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You'll be pinned up in the Italian dressing room with this playing on loop.
Hesti di cazzo.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Maybe shit. Yeah. Sam?
I think Ireland will win that. I've got to be careful here because we've got to go away to Italy, and that's all.
Don't add fuel to the fire.
Great piss up, though. Great piss up.
Yeah, well, if we get it, mate. Yeah, I think Ireland will win. I think they'll win that.
Sadly, that's all the time we've got left for this week. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you to Max. Huge thanks to Sam. Good luck with your match over the weekend. And to everyone else, thank you for listening. Do like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next week.